Welcome to Borderline Furniture RX. I'm Mara, and this is project number 14 for the Spring Clean Challenge hosted by Zab's Rehabs. So for this challenge, I have to transform a curbside find. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that I've done several of these entertainment centers. But what can I say? I take what the universe gives me. So what makes these entertainment centers so unappealing? Well, they've outlived their purpose, they're really wide, and they're very heavy. So in this challenge, what I'm going to do is find a new purpose and take care of some of that wide and heavy. The first thing I want to do is remove the top, but I have to remove all of these annoying wood plugs to get to the screws. I'm removing the doors because they're in the way, and I'm marking the hinges because the hinges should always go back on in the position that they came off. If you mix up the hinges, you run the risk of the doors not aligning again. This was a really poor design. The fake wood could not support the weight and action of the doors. Removing the hinges revealed cracks around all of the screw holes. Man, this is the 80-20 rule. 80% glue and 20% screws. I probably spent about 2 hours trying to get this apart, but I did finally get the top off. I decided to leave the bottom shelf for stability, but the rest of this cabinet is getting chopped. I'm using the duct tape to temporarily hold the cabinet together while all of the cuts are made. If I didn't do this, the chances are that the cabinet would separate and crack the MDF. Mission accomplished. Once I replace the back trim, this milestone is done. Now what to do with these doors? I really don't like the design, so I'm going to have to change them. And here we have little Miss Oakley showing off one of her many talents. I'm going to remove about 3/4 of the door panel, and then after that I'm going to smooth it out with the router. This trim piece goes on the lower part of the door panel, and I'm just going to glue it in place. Here is my inspiration for the door panels. I'll be using this discounted 2x6 that I purchased from Home Depot. This wood certainly isn't a diamond in the rough, but it'll do the job, even though it has a crack through the center. After about 3 hours of cutting and sanding, I had enough pieces for a serious game of Jenga. without giving too much away, this is where we're going with those doors. And although I didn't record it, prior to scuff sanding, this cabinet was cleaned with Crud Cutter. Cleaning, scuff sanding, and priming are the best ways to ensure that your paint sticks to your project. Now here's my experience using primers. I can't seem to get a smooth finish if I'm rolling it, and it has to be thinned way too much for my paint sprayer. So on a whim, I tried the spray primer and I really did like it. There's no mixing and there's no cleanup mess. Once you're done with the can, you just pitch it. Now here I'm doing a paint test to make sure that my primer's preventing bleed through. By the way, this is Behr chalk paint and the color is Sandy Clay. Okay, y'all, I'm using my new paint sprayer that I just got from Harbor Freight. I really love how this paint's going down. I really didn't like the idea of white shelves in a white cabinet, and I really wanted to break it up somehow. So I had this leftover Rust-Oleum glaze that I didn't use on another project, and so I thought I would just try it and see what I thought. And what did I think? Well, I think using the glaze was the right choice in this case. If you've ever worked on these types of cabinets, you know the veneer is very thin. So I carefully sanded the top with 180 grit sandpaper and then finished with 220 to prevent blowing through the veneer. Prior to applying this stain, I used a pre-stain. Then I used Behr oil-based stain in the color Jacobean. I believe that this has been discontinued because I got this can on sale at Home Depot about a year or 2 years ago. Since I didn't like the design of these doors, I decided to make them into sliding doors. I purchased this sliding door hardware at Lowe's for less than $20. Just a reminder, this is where we started with my curbside find. And here is the finished cabinet. We are nearing the end of project number 14. I want to thank Sabrina at Sab's Rehab for hosting this challenge. Please remember to check out the playlist in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.